So Frank also, checks my Facebook because it's a lot, and I guess I've received thousands of messages, death threats, and the like. Very nasty messages. Um, but I guess I deserve it for the crime of supporting a fellow comedian and then making jokes.
Her jokes, they were really funny. I mean, that plane crash was what, 10 years ago or something? Like, get over it already.
Yeah.
We can't joke about a 10-year-old plane crash. I mean, I get it if it's something that just happened like last week. You might want to give it another, a month or two, but it was 10 years ago. Are they pissed about the plane crash joke? Or the
Right.
just
What's
in
under there?
general?
Is it like are they insecure about their technology? Are they insecure about their aviation? Um
I think she obviously hit on some truth that they're very uncomfortable with, which is they don't like the competition between what happened in Singapore, and they don't like the fact that they're not. That's a big burn to them, I guess, that they're still a developing country, and calm down. We're
mhm.
going to be a developing country really soon,
Oh
so we'll
yeah.
be there with you,
We'll
and
be
it's
right
going to
down there
be
with you washing our
and
poop, you
we
know?
and we will be telling the jokes about that at that point. Believe me, we will, because we find this very funny. The
Oh yeah.
fall of Western civilization.
We laugh now, but when we're
Oh.
all scrubbing away at our dung, it won't be as funny.
But we will remember this conversation. So maybe we'll
We
get a
will.
chuckle or two out
Like,
of it,
remember when we were
Chrissy.
joking on SimpCast, the good old days before we had to wash our poop? Don't you miss when you could just flush it down the toilet, never see it again?
Instead of dig a hole in
Yeah,
the
you gotta pick it
backyard.
up,
Yeah.
and then you wash it basically till it's gone, I imagine. Let's see, let's find a good Jocelyn Chia article. This is insane what's happening to her, but ultimately gonna be fantastic. I mean, other than the losing her Singapore citizenship, that's kinda sucks, and that was a huge overreaction, but it sounds like that's what they do best over there. Alright, let me pull this
Why
up.
would she lose her Singapore?
Jocelyn Chia's MH370 joke sparks outrage in Malaysia and Singapore. So you're not making
Why would
anyone
that make
happy
Singapore upset? So
because they're
strange.
embarrassed, like, oh, I don't know, jokes are, I guess, illegal there too. A comedian's joke about the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines flight
Well, they
has
cane
sparked.
your ass there for chewing gum or some shit.
Really?
You get caned for chewing gum in
Oh,
Singapore. Yeah, remember that American kid? He got his ass caned in the public square for spitting gum out on the sidewalk. They are for real
Jesus.
serious in Singapore. If you go there, you better read all the signs and do what they say.
The foreign ministers of both countries condemned comedian Jocelyn Chia's joke that was
Wow.
made at the Comedy Cellar Club in New York recently. Singapore-born Chia
Ridiculous.
posted an 89-second clip of her comedy act on TikTok and Instagram pages, sparking outrage among Malaysians. It also led Singapore's officials to apologize.
As if she speaks
Wow.
for Singapore. I mean, that's ridiculous. She's
Can't
just
they
a
isn't it easier for
person.
them to just be like, "Yeah, we don't claim her, like, she's
Yeah,
an
like
American, or she's
she lives
over
in New
there
York.
now,"
Like,
or
but they should have said nothing.
yeah.
Why should this whole country of Singapore respond to a comedian who's probably had 3 shots like what?
Right.
In some basement bar in New York? Like, come on. Not
Yeah.
that it's a basement bar. I'm
Let
not
people
saying
be
that.
individuals, and maybe it's a socialism thing, I don't know. Let's see, Singapore's foreign
So
affairs minister
weird.
Vivian, it's a woman, Balakrishnan on Thursday apologized for offense and hurt caused to Malaysians over Miss Chia's joke. Vanu Galopa Menon, Singapore's high commissioner to Malaysia, also apologized to all Malaysians for her hurtful remarks. Isn't
Well,
that
these are
sad
very
that they
brittle
feel they have to
people.
do that? Like, they're like,
It
"Oh, we're gonna cancel
Well, they're
Singapore."
so brittle. Like, we
It's very
apologize
weak.
to all
Yeah.
Malaysians for her hurt. They weren't hurtful. It was funny. If you can't laugh
Yeah.
at your
Like, then you're too
situation or
stupid for
whatever.
comedy.
You
Sorry,
shouldn't,
like,
yeah, don't be on TikTok either. You're too fragile for TikTok, and don't be on Instagram. You're too
yeah.
fragile for that. You might come
Don't
across
click
something.
on any comedy, joke online. Like, just avoid it because you can't handle it.
I this is insane. This is
Yeah,
absolutely
it's,
insane.
I'm a little jealous that this didn't happen to me. Uh, Mr. Menon Coulter remarks about the missing airliner as well as other comments about Malaysia are gratuitously offensive. That's pretty dramatic. He later clarified Miss Chia was no longer a citizen of Singapore.
Wow.
Wow.
The Singapore government does not condone words or actions that cause harm or hurt to others, and Chia, who is no longer Singaporean, does not in any way reflect our views.
So they don't have freedom of speech there, obviously.
No, I guess not. It must fucking suck.
So you know what? Good for her
Yeah.
that she lost her citizenship to a country that
That
shitty.
sucks anyway, yeah.
That totally
Malaysian
sucks.
Trump was right. These are shitty countries.
These are shitty ass countries. This is a serious shit country that you don't want to go to. Don't go to
There's a bunch of poop
Singapore.
washers. Come
Don't
on.
go to Malaysia. These are
Malaysian
shit places.
Foreign Minister Zambri Abdul Kadir also reacted to the clip and said Ms. Chia showed a total lack of sensitivity and empathy. Wow. Yeah, if you have no sense of humor, name me one empathetic joke. Name me one empathetic comedian.
Well,
Someone that's known
okay,
for their
I
empathy.
can name you an empathetic comedian. What's her name? What was the one on Netflix?
Nanette?
Nanette.
Oh, yeah,
Nanette.
she sucks. This video also clearly depicts
Actually,
behavior that is contrary to the values of Asian countries that are known for their manners and morals. So maybe this is an Asian thing.
I
So
don't
this
think it's an Asian thing in general. I don't think it's an Asian thing. I think it's actually about it's about tyranny. It's about control and populations that are under the control of governments. So it would be this way whether they were Asian or anybody else, because the Japanese aren't going to behave like this.
And here's the thing, this wasn't a Malaysian or
South
Singaporean
Koreans-
club. This was an American New York City comedy club. So it's like it has actually like nothing to do with you
Nothing to
guys.
do with
Like,
either of these countries. Look, well, Uncle Roger did his show on Netflix or not Netflix, on YouTube or whatever, and he got, banned from China. So it's crazy. It's about these totalitarian governments.
yeah.
Because you're not going to see South Korea doing that. You're not going to see Japan doing that. So I don't think it's an Asian thing. I think it's just about totalitarianism, really. And when comedy is not allowed, and this is why we should all be very, very careful and support Chrissie and any other comedian.
Jocelyn. I mean,
And support Jocelyn, and any comedian who's brave enough to say something unpopular. Because the minute the jokes are not allowed, that's when you are living in a totalitarian nightmare, when you are not allowed to tell a joke anymore, which is why you should always tell the joke. Always tell it, Chrissie, no matter how bad you think it's going to go over, say it anyway.
oh yeah. So this, I actually Googled, like, are there Malaysian comedians? Do they exist? There might have been like 10 or 15. This guy, Harith Iskander, came up. And I was like, you know what? Let's see what a Malaysian has to say about this. Does he defend comedy or does he bend the knee? Let's see what he says.
Assalamualaikum. Bonjour. I'm Harith Iskander. I'm overseas at the moment, as you can see. But I woke up this morning and everyone is asking me about the Jocelyn Chia
Chia.
clip. It has riled up Malaysians. Well, due to its
It's just really easy
insensitivity
to
towards
do.
a tragedy.
Sorry, my
surrounding
internet is very
MH370.
Malaysian right now.
Now, the loss of the plane was and is a deeply traumatic event for Malaysians. As a comedian, I respect the freedom of expression that we comedians require to do our job, but it is equally important to exercise some level of
No, stop it.
sensitivity and empathy when doing certain material, especially topics that are deeply personal or tragic. Comedy can be a powerful
He's reading this, by the way.
tool
I don't
for
think this is
social
how he
commentary,
genuinely
but it
feels.
needs to be used responsibly. As Spider-Man
Being preachy.
Shut up.
Take
Needs
power
to be
from,
used
you know, yada, yada,
responsibly.
yada,
Shut
yada.
your face.
Now,
Yeah, like
Comedians
you're
have
taking yourself
no
too seriously.
we need to be
responsibility
aware
to be
of the
responsible.
potential impact.
You're not a
of
Comedians
politician.
are supposed to make you laugh. That's it. That's it. Make you laugh.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, when
towing
did
the
it
line.
turn
He
into
doesn't give a
comedians
damn.
Comedy,
were
like all
supposed
art
to be
forms,
like
is a
fucking role models. That's not the way that this works.
Just
No one's
give
looking
form
to
of
comedians
expression.
to be like,
That
ah,
means
yes,
what's
give
funny
me life advice. Like, no, make me laugh and
to
entertain
one
me.
person may not be necessarily funny to someone else, and you've got to keep in mind.
Yeah, so why
so
can't
what?
they accept, like, wow, some people clearly thought this was hilarious. We don't, but it's ultimately so selfish when you make it about you and you're being offended instead of being like, well, clearly other people appreciated this joke. It wasn't for me, but like, why try to cancel jokes existing? Why to try to cancel somebody for just trying to make other people laugh? It's like you're making your sensitivity and your taste more important than the people who enjoyed it. It's very selfish.
Now, I know Jocelyn is performing in the Comedy Cellar, which I think is a club in the US, but as a Singaporean, she should have been a little bit smarter to
Why?
realize that in this age of social media,
Okay, social
picking on a
media.
Malaysian in the audience and then bringing up
So she should
MH370,
cower in fear for doing crowd work? No. Fuck that.
Yeah,
it's
shut
going to
up.
get up
This
on the
guy
internet,
sucks.
girlfriend. It's going to have a wider effect.
Oh, girlfriend,
Ultimately,
what risks are you taking, Harith? Because if you're not, it's hard to respect you as a comic.
as a comedian, my intention is to make people laugh. And I believe comedians and stand-up comedy should strive to create a
Positive and
inclusive
inclusive. Yeah, she was being inclusive. She was including Malaysians and Singaporeans. That sounds pretty
comedic
inclusive.
environment. I make fun of Singapore all the time.
Do you? Because have you been canceled by them?
Yeah, it's part of
Obviously,
the
his
friendly
jokes aren't that
banter
funny because
that
he's
allows
never
us
been
to
No.
canceled.
coexist, and we're like competitive cousins, right? Now, so finally, Jocelyn, before I go, I just want to say one thing. Malaysia, we may be still a developing nation, but when it comes to kindness and
Oh,
thoughtfulness,
shut up.
we are definitely
Wow.
first world.
Oh Lord, here we
Don't know
go.
about other
What a
countries.
condescending,
Wink,
douchey
wink.
thing
Guy's
to
a
say.
prick.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Boo, I would never pay
That
money to
wasn't a
see this
joke.
person.
And
That wasn't a
Chrissy's
joke,
like,
it was a
I've got
joke.
1,000 messages proving otherwise that they weren't nice to you.
You know what
Yeah,
I would
they were
appreciate from this guy? Hey,
terrible.
here's the time I told a joke where people came after me for it. Guess what? It's part of the art. It's your job is to push.
Chrissy, check the private chat because Frank just they wrote about you.
Well, then let me finish this article. Great. Mr.
You
Menon
made the
said his
Malaysian press, by the way.
Oh, of course. Wow. I'm shocked. Mr. Menon said comments like Ms. Chia's were unhelpful and undermine the close. Really, I didn't realize jokes were supposed to be helpful. Jokes were supposed to make people laugh. Undermine the close trust and friendship that both are. If someone's joke that they tell in New York has the power to undermine a country's relationship with another country, you are giving that joke and that comedian far too much power.
Way too much power. But jokes do have power. Okay, this
Oh,
is the
yeah.
thing. This is what it all comes down to, though. Humor has an immense amount of power. And there's a clip that I sent you, Chrissy, for the show that hopefully we'll get to at some point, where it's like kids in a classroom and the teacher is showing them this pride video with like women
Oh, I
kissing,
see.
and all the kids are like, "Oh, come on! Why are you showing this to kids?" And they're laughing and they're like, you know. When that starts happening and they're joking and laughing about a thing, that's when the thing crumbles, right? That's when it all falls apart. So actually, comedians do have a lot of power, but an entire country admitting it, that like, oh no, that's
Mhm.
crazy. They should just ignore it.
All right, I'm gonna blow through this. You're 100% right. Since the outrage, Miss Chia's Twitter has been suspended. I don't know if that's true. I think she's not really on Twitter. I think they just probably went to go find her Twitter and couldn't find it. But I think she was never a big Twitter comedian. She was more Instagram, TikTok. Reports said she had taken down her Instagram profile, which is where she shared the clip from the act. The clip stayed up on TikTok, which reports said are still up. Wow. The Straight Times reported that lawyer turned comedian Ms. Chia is now a U.S. citizen and is a regular performer in New York. Okay, so maybe she already didn't have the Singaporean citizenship. Maybe that just expired or
She
something.
was
And
born there. She was born there.
she was definitely born there.
So
But
yeah, it said she was born there.
at
So
first, I thought that they took it away because of this joke, but maybe it just
she is
expired like an
also
old.
a U.S. citizen
Right,
because she lives in New York and she's done that. But she
right.
was born in Singapore, so she has like dual
Cool.
citizenship, and they denied her that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a big loss. The Star reported
No,
citing
it doesn't.
screenshots shared by social media users that Ms. Chia had. First of all, hello, Zia. I forgot to welcome in Zia
Hi.
Anderson. Hello. The Star reported citing screenshots shared by social media users that Ms. Chia had replied to a comment by local stand-up comedian Jason Long, who appeared to endorse her performance by saying, "I love this bit." Oh wow, somebody stood up for her.
Good.
And somebody saying, "Oh, not funny. I lost an auntie and 2 cousins to," but guess what? Like
Well, of course it's not funny to
you're making it
you.
about you, and Jocelyn's joke was not directed at you personally,
No.
meow person. You know what I mean? It
Also,
was like
everybody handles that kind of stuff differently. Some people handle that kind of stuff with humor and some people don't. But taking away the ability for other people to handle tragedy with humor because you're
right.
sensitive about it is unbelievably selfish. And you're just a dick if you do that.
It's very selfish. The outlet reported that an Instagram user at Saruv86 commented on Jocelyn's stand-up video saying the tragedy should not be made a joke, to which Jocelyn replied otherwise.
Why not?
But really, I think the DMs I have of Malaysians mentioning 9/11 would completely negate this comment.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Chia reportedly responded, "Tragedy plus time equals comedy. It's been long enough, man." She reportedly also claimed on her Instagram that people can have the right to joke about tragic events and they can make it funny. Exactly. And if you can't take a joke, that is a you problem. That
It's a
is
you
not a
problem.
Jocelyn problem.
Nope.
Kudsia Kahara, former Malaysian radio announcer who shared the video on Twitter, said Miss Chia had crossed the line. All right, well, cross the line for you. Other people enjoyed it. You're not more important than other people just because you're offended. I draw the line at turning MH370 into a joke. A good stand-up never
No.
turns tragedy into death. No, this is
That
false.
is
This is
so
bullshit.
false.
This is you're not a comedy fan if you're
That is
saying
so
this.
wrong. You've just never known comedy ever
And then
to say
the
something
memes.
like that.
Look at this horrible lame meme. I love it. They
No,
tried
her
though.
her career is not over.
No,
She
she's
needs to
gonna.
just keep going. And here's the thing:
Yeah.
never apologize for this shit.
Nope.
Never. Double down.
Yeah.
Always.
I think
agree.
she needs major nature therapy. I don't know what that means. Local reports said there is also demonstration.
Wait, that was
Oh my gosh, she's having a protest. I love it.
no, that was a Malaysian actress who tweeted, "I think she needs major nature therapy." Again, we don't understand you,
Not
Malaysian
here.
people.
Language
We don't get
barrier.
what you mean.
Don't make a comment if you barely understand English. Local reports said there is a demonstration planned for Friday in front of the U.S. Embassy in Kuala Lumpur to protest. So they had a
Oh,
protest for
jeez.
her on Friday. There are also calls from certain groups in Malaysia to ban
Ooh,
her
are
from
there
entering the
pictures?
country. That's
I'm
fucking
gonna
great.
Google the pictures.
Meanwhile, New York Comedy Cellar's Twitter handle wrote that they were experiencing a significant and damaging online attack over the comedian's show. So now they're going after the Cellar. Very mature, guys.
Yeah, because they
and
can control the material of the comedians that come in on a regular basis.
yeah, it's very disgusting. In the first, now deleted version of the tweet, we used the word canceled. We were being tongue in cheek. We are not canceled, but we are experiencing a significant and damaging online attack. Wow. Some other Malaysian person said I would have told her it was too much. Well, guess what? She fucking did the jokes she wanted to do because she's a Cellar comedian, which means she's pretty good.
I just want to point out that I just Googled the protest, and all I can find are a couple of articles that mention there is one planned for Friday, which would be last Friday, and there are no pictures of any protest from Friday.
Yeah, how many people came out?
So I don't think anyone came.
Like 4 people were there and they're like, we
What
probably
happened?
shouldn't post this.
What happens if you plan a protest and no one shows up?
Here's
That's
what's
so
stupid
embarrassing.
about this, but it is equally important to exercise some level of sensitivity and empathy when doing certain material, especially deeply personal or tragic topics. Guess what? It's not like one specific family had a car wreck and died. This was a very public event. Okay. It wasn't kept secret. Comedians are allowed to talk about any public event, whether it's tragic or not. So it's not like, again, this is not meant to personally offend specific people. She's making jokes about airplanes and about an event that is public. It's in the public knowledge. It was 10 years ago. It's not like it just happened.
It's insane that this is
yeah.
even
A Malaysian
I
member
can't
of
believe
parliament
people are so brittle.
referred to Miss Chia as a bad seed, a
Oh.
chia seed.
Chia seed, you might say.
Chia seed.
Chia seed.
And now you have all these other virtue singlers saying, "I must say it's a bad taste." Oh, well, guess what? If your job is not like if I only want to hear from people who get paid to make people laugh. Your comments are irrelevant otherwise. It's so easy as a
And
person who
I
doesn't
would
get paid to make
agree.
people laugh for you to say, "Oh, don't offend anyone." It's like, well, you don't know what the fuck to do. Have you been on stage?
God, and it
Also-
must be so difficult. But if
I
to
can't
say that a
imagine.
joke is in bad taste might be true. Like it might be true that a joke was in bad taste, but that doesn't mean it wasn't funny. And it doesn't
Right.
mean that it isn't valid to say. And like your taste is different than somebody else's taste. And so to say,
The
well, it's in
joke
bad
police.
taste. Well, according to you.
And the culture has
Yeah.
become, if you're offended, your taste is now better or more important than the person who's not offended or
Than
the
the
person
person
who
who
enjoyed the
laughed.
joke. Yeah.
People are so narcissistic. They think their worldview is the way everyone's view should be, whether it's comedy
true.
or your lifestyle or whatever it is. It's this weird thing where people get this narcissism of like, oh, yeah, well, I think this is the best way to live. Therefore, it is. So if other people aren't doing it, they're stupid. And I see it online so much with everything. And it's ridiculous. People need to get off their fucking high horses.
And it's interesting too, because I had learned about 2 or 3 years ago about the Hayokas, the Hopi Indians, the jesters or the Pueblo clowns or whatever they called them. And they were sacred to the tribe, literally sacred, because they were the contrarians. They were the ones that went against the culture to make a point and to bring people back down to earth in a way, you know?
That's like the court jester with the kings and queens. The court jester was the only person allowed to basically make fun of the king. And that's something that we all need. We need someone who can make fun of the king, because if you don't have anybody who can make fun of the king, guess what? You're all screwed.
Dangerous.
It's very dangerous. The jester, the clown serves a very important role. I find comedians to be at the very edge of what's important in freedom of speech, in freedom in general. I never get angry at comedians. If I don't like what they say, and there's plenty of them I don't like, I turn the channel. That's all you need to do. It's just there's a little button on the remote and you can just go to a different show. I like the idea. It happened the other night. I was on Netflix. I was watching some comedy special. I don't remember what it was. And he went on for about 5 minutes too long about penis jokes that I just wasn't into. And it was like, okay, that was like 5 minutes too long. I'm just moving on. I'm just going to move on. I don't care if you tell penis jokes all day long, but if they're not making me laugh, I need to move on. But it's not something you did wrong, because somebody might be laughing their ass off at that joke. I just wasn't into it. But I'm not like going to protest this poor guy for telling bad penis jokes.
Right.
And if you try not to offend anyone, you'll never be able to tell a joke ever again, because something is always going to offend someone. There's no way.
Yeah. You're going to apologize yourself out of a job.
Right.
You're going to apologize yourself into a corner. Because once you apologize, like if Jocelyn were to apologize, sorry, I said that. Well, guess what? Now she can't do ever again. Make any kind of Malaysian joke, any kind of Singaporean joke.
She can't
Probably not any other
apologize.
kind of Asian joke when she is Asian, and she should be able to.
If I could give her advice, I would say, Jocelyn, your next set must be 100% Malaysian jokes. Like full on, worse than what you did, which was not bad at all. Like go for the throat on the next one, and then this will end. Because they'll realize we can't intimidate her through this shit, and it will end, and then people will just be braver. See, that's the thing. And you need someone though to double down on this shit before other people stand up and go, yeah, you know what, she's right, this is dumb.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.